I live in Seattle. It's no secret that Seattle can be very gray and dark, and the winter months drag on for what feels like forever and ever. Don't let these blue skies fool you. As we all know, these few months before the darkness are some of my favorite though. The days are slowly growing shorter and cooler as summer still lingers, fighting to hold on until the very end when the seasons finally switch like the changing of the guards. My morning walks with Baker require just a bit warmer layers, but my afternoon work days in my shop leave me stripping them off as cool beads of sweat drip down my back. The way the light changes with its golden hues feels comforting. It feels familiar. It feels like an old friend coming for a visit. I feel my body begin to prepare too. I find myself craving warmer meals and cozy days curled up on the couch reading. And for the first time in months, I don't mind the fact that both of my pets are constantly on top of me because, honestly, I want the extra warmth too. I crave warm apple crisps and getting excited for the holidays as my autumn jazz playlist is on repeat. When I was younger, I'd start patiently waiting until right around Halloween before I put on my cassette tape of The Carpenter's Christmas and start to dream of sugar plum berries, hoping for a white Christmas. Like clockwork, something else lingers just below the surface. That old friend starts to feel like it's overstayed its welcome, and a hint of melancholy starts to rise up from deep within. As the days grow shorter and the weather begins to change, I feel hints of sadness. I've always struggled with this. This feeling, though, it's oddly comforting just as the changing seasons are. And maybe it isn't even sadness. Maybe I've been reading it all wrong all these years, and the feeling is more a turning inward, an emotional hibernation of sorts. My body and mind's natural way of winding down for this season, but since we live in a world that glorifies busyness and productivity, I've somehow turned this feeling into something I want to avoid. I've been looking a bit more inwards lately, trying to figure out what this feeling is. It feels a little unsettling, and like what I've been creating for the last few years, I'm starting to outgrow already. However, what is now being asked to be born isn't quite ready yet. This time in any creative's life can feel overwhelming and hard. I also tend to forget that transitions are always hard on me, and even though I moved into a space that I love and I'm so happy being here, with that move comes newness and redefining how I do certain things. And change, although something I seem to always crave, has never come easy for me. I am a creature of my habits and routines and find a lot of comfort in them. As I allow for this time of year to take hold, I have come to realize that I don't need to fear what lingers below the surface. This is just another part of me. And now, after years of therapy and trying to understand it, I have tools. I have a roadmap of sorts to give myself the grace I deserve. And it looks a little something like this. Allowing for slower mornings and afternoons. I work for myself, and I know that this is a luxury that not everyone has, and I'm grateful for it. But even if it's just a few extra minutes in the morning and the evening, I hope there's an opportunity for us all to give ourselves a tiny bit of space and time. Especially as I've entered my 40s, and with all the surgeries I've had, I find my body needs to wake up slowly instead of pushing myself to get more things done. I think that different seasons require different routines. My energy ebbs and flows with each new month. Mapping out my week. I thrive on more structure, but at the same time, structure at times feels a little confining. I like my workdays to allow for creative freedom. However, I'm also craving more boundaries for myself. I'm using an organizational tool called Notion to help me map out every aspect of my life instead of holding it all inside. I'll be honest, these kind of things are hard for me to stick with, but I know as I slowly enter the darker months, I need this kind of structure. Giving myself creative space. I love what I do for work. It's taken me a very long time to get to a place where I feel confident in myself as an artist. I can also get into a routine where I work 7 days a week because I love what I do. But I want to make sure I'm giving myself space and time to work on home projects and seasonal crafts just because they bring me joy. I have a tendency to turn everything into work and forget that sometimes just creating to create without any agenda feeds my soul too. Reading more for fun. I love nothing more than getting lost in a good book where the characters start to become more like friends. I'll be honest, I tend to turn the TV on though because it's easy. It requires very little of me, unlike reading. And I'm not saying I will never watch TV, more so I just want better boundaries around how much and what I watch. Regularly moving my body. This is one of the most important things for my emotional well-being. My body has changed a lot over the last few years, especially since I went through cancer treatment and had my hysterectomy. It's slower, it aches more, it's more sensitive to the movements I bring it. As someone who used to thrive in activities like running and cycling, these days my body seems to need slower, more intentional movements. And my relationship with my body has been a long, winding journey of ups and downs and requires daily commitment to not fall back into old, restrictive patterns. Behaviors that leave me feeling depleted and looking at my body in a negative light. Although this is not an exhaustive list, these are just some of the tools I've learned over the years help me get through the darker months. I am not a professional when it comes to handling seasonal depression, but I am a person who has lived with it for most of their life, and I've learned it comes and goes. It is much a part of me as anything else. I always encourage you to reach out to a professional if it starts to feel like too much. These tools of mine, I've learned work for me, but maybe your toolbox looks a little bit different. We all deserve to be supported, and we all deserve to find a little bit of peace. If you found this video helpful, I would love for you to hit the like button as it helps me reach more people who may benefit from it as well. And I'll see you in the next video.